Imperative sentences are sentences that are used to issue commands as well as give directives. They are sentences that are used to instruct and direct on what to do or how to do it. Take for instance, shut the doors. The sentence above is an imperative sentence because it issues a command to the addressed. Notice how it does not appear like the typical SVK sentence. It does not begin with a subject. The reason for this is because subjects are not necessary elements in forming imperative sentences, because they are always implied. Verb forms in imperative sentences. When it comes to imperative sentences, the verb forms used in forming them are unique. We only use the base form of verbs which are placed at the initial position when forming imperative sentences. Take for instance, watch the kids. In the imperative sentence above, you would realize that the verb watch does not appear to have grammatical properties such as number and tense accounted for it. This is because verbs in imperative sentences are always left in their base forms without the particle to, as used in infinitives. Examples of imperative sentences: get me some food to eat. Learn to look up complex words in the dictionary. Fetch me a fresh cup of wine, immediately. Leave my presence at once. Stand down on my command. Nouns of address in imperative sentences. We have already established that subjects are not part of the formative elements of imperative sentences. However, we can have nouns of address occupying the subject position in an imperative sentence. Nouns of address are simply nouns that serve the purpose of gaining the attention of those who are being referred to. They are used when we intend to capture the attention of people we are addressing or to confirm that they are still with us, and listening to what we are telling them. Take for instance, what are you going to do, John? The noun of address in the sentence above is John. This is because it serves the purpose of clarifying who it is that the question is being directed at, and for the purpose of gaining their attention. You can see that the noun of address is marked off from the rest of the sentence by a comma, which shows that it has no grammatical implications on the sentence. It is neither subject nor object, but plays the role of simple emphasis. Examples of nouns of address in imperative sentences: Coach, be on the lookout for us. Nellie, clean up all the dishes before going to bed. James, follow us to the concert this evening. Teacher, permit us to take a little nap during break. Mom, tell Dad to buy us gifts on his return from his business trip. You can see that all the imperative sentences above have nouns of address occupying their subject position. It is also apparent that they are all marked off from the rest of the sentence, which reinforces the idea that nouns of address have no grammatical implications or consequences on the sentences in which they appear. We can easily remove them from the imperative sentences and they would still be grammatical and intelligible. Take for instance, tell Dad to buy us gifts on his return from his business trip. You can see clearly that removing the noun of address from the imperative sentence does not render it ungrammatical or distort its meaning. Nouns of address are not limited to the initial positions of imperative sentences, as they can also appear at the final positions of imperative sentences. Take for instance, stand in the hallway, Haganzuka. Call Michael on your phone, Zuzi. Tell everyone what happened to the patient, doctor. Show us how you got your answer, sir. While imperative sentences are known to end with periods or full stops, there can also be occasions where they end with exclamatory marks. The reason why exclamatory marks are often added to imperative sentences is to show the intensity of the issued commands. Take for instance, shut the doors. Read your books. Eat quietly. Save yourselves. Listen to instructions. So imperative sentences are simply sentences that serve the purpose of instructing. They are sentences that give commands or directives to achieve the intended goals of the speaker. Imperative sentences typically do not contain subjects, but they can have nouns of address occupying their subject position, without having any grammatical implication on the rest of their sentence. Understanding imperative sentences will better inform you on the functions they perform and how to use them both in speaking and writing. See you soon.